My name is Sam Whitlow. I'm 31 years old, and the last time I saw my parents, I was 16, pregnant, and standing in the rain with a trash bag full of my life. I grew up in a family of legacy lawyers and Ivy League pedigrees, where image meant everything and obedience meant survival. Unlike my older siblings, I wasn't polished or predictable. I asked questions, challenged rules, and fell for the wrong boy at the wrong time. They called me reckless, selfish, shameful. But what hurt the most wasn't being different, it was how easy it was for them to erase me. 15 years later, they resurfaced like nothing had happened. Only this time, they weren't after me. They said they were trying to save my daughter. The rain hit the window like a ticking clock. I was in the den, still in my school uniform, holding the test stick like it was evidence from a crime scene. My hands shook. The second line didn't. Dad's voice came through the speakerphone, cold and clipped. You have 10 minutes to pack. Take only what you bought yourself. Mom didn't even come downstairs. She stayed in the sunroom, scrolling her phone, as if I were a house guest overstaying my welcome. There were no questions. No hugs. Just instructions. You're lucky we're not calling the police for fraud, he added, stepping into the hallway. And don't think we haven't spoken to Declan's family. He's already been protected. Protected. Like I was the disease. My heart pounded. I ran upstairs. Grabbed jeans, a hoodie, a burner flip phone I didn't know my sister Ava had left in my drawer. One single photo of me and her at the beach, from a year before everything soured. I was halfway out the door when I turned back for the necklace. Nana's pendant. I wore it at Christmas. They'd never notice it missing. The front door clicked behind me. The deadbolt turned. That was the last time I saw their house from the inside. The bus terminal smelled like bleach and popcorn. One bulb flickered in the ceiling. I counted the seconds between flickers to stay calm. 6 flick. 6 flick. 7 flick. I tucked my knees to my chest. My hoodie covered the stain on my uniform. I could still feel the tremble in my knees from walking out into the storm barefoot. A woman walked by. Pause. Backed up. Sweetheart, you okay? She asked, clutching a paper bag from Waffle House. I nodded. She didn't push. Just left the bag on the bench, next to me. People say monsters wear masks. Mine wore matching cashmere and gave TED Talks about integrity. I slept with one eye open. Woke up to the sound of boots and radios. Cops patrolling the terminal. I stayed still. The phone buzzed. Unknown number. I didn't answer. One voicemail. I hit play. It was Ava's voice. Low. Shaky. Sam, I tried to stop them. I swear. Check your bag. Don't trust anyone. Not even me. My hands dove into the duffel. Beneath my socks, tucked in the lining, a yellow sticky note. They're not done. Watch your back. My skin went ice cold. That night, I stole a coat from the lost and found bin. I traded my name for silence. My past for survival. For 15 years, I thought the worst had already happened. But nothing could have prepared me for what came next. If they disown me to protect the family name, what are they hiding behind it? 15 years later, my daughter's name showed up in a courtroom I never entered. Ivy was upstairs when the envelope came. She was practicing violin, something sharp, technical, disciplined. The kind of thing my parents would have approved of. I stood at the kitchen island, holding a thick envelope from Whitlow and Haynes, the firm my father once ran. My name was on it. So was Ivy's. Black ink. No stamp. Hand-delivered. I sliced it open with a steak knife. Petition for emergency guardianship. Filed under the pretense of psychological concern. Filed by Celeste and Richard Whitlow. My parents. I gripped the counter. My hands went numb. They said I was unfit. Delusional. A risk to Ivy's future. They said I'd abandon the family to avoid consequence. They said I was unstable since age 16, backed by a sealed psychiatric evaluation. Sealed. Because I'd never seen one. Never attended therapy. Never consented. I moved like someone wading through floodwater. I pulled the documents closer. Pages blurred. Words slashed like knives. Ivy came down, ponytail loose. "What's wrong with your face?" she asked. I didn't answer. I shoved the documents in the drawer, slammed it shut, and forced a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "They found us," I whispered to myself after she went back upstairs. By midnight, I was sitting on the floor of my closet, laptop glowing. Ava hadn't answered any of my calls. Her voicemail was full. My last text had just 2 words. "You knew." I typed in the name of the psychiatrist, Dr. Elroy Mathis. Nothing recent. No photos. No website. Just one archived article, 2008. Former Whitlow consultant ends practice after confidential settlement. I clicked. Page error. Link gone. I swore under my breath. The closet felt smaller. My heart pounded in my ears. I reached for the thumb drive I kept duct-taped behind the closet panel, Jordan's idea. He called it my ghost parachute. Jordan had been my only friend left from home. Now a freelance investigative journalist in D.C., the kind of guy who wore wrinkled t-shirts to briefings and still got the story. He owed me a favor. Or maybe he just hated my family enough to help. I texted him the name, the case number, and 4 words. "Need you. Now. Urgent." The response came fast. "Come to the garage. 2 hours. Bring gloves." The garage was a storage unit 20 miles outside Atlanta. Cheap rent. No cameras. Just a padlock and good instincts. When I pulled up, Jordan was already there, flashlight in mouth, loading boxes. "You look like hell," he said. I got served. I tossed the envelope to him. "They're trying to take her." Jordan skimmed it, eyebrows knitting. "This is bad," he muttered. "This isn't just legal strategy. This is chess." I never saw that psych eval. I never signed anything. Why the hell do they have my medical file? He paused, then walked to the back of a unit. Pulled out a small fireproof safe. "We're gonna find out." He cracked it open. Inside, an old external hard drive, 2 prepaid phones, and a file folder marked Whitlow Private, sealed. He opened it slowly, carefully. Inside was a copy of my birth certificate, Ivy's, and a copy of a custody agreement. Signed by me. Notarized. Legally binding. Only I never signed it. I stared at the signature. Perfect replica. Loops and slants, down to the tail on the S. Jordan looked at me. "That's a felony," he said. "No," I snapped. "That's a setup." My pulse roared. My vision blurred. Ivy's face flashed in my mind. Bright, innocent, everything I fought to protect. Jordan pulled out his phone. Snapped a photo of the agreement. "You need to call someone?" "Like who?" "My dad's old golf buddy at the courthouse." "Sam," he said, voice low, steady. "They're not fighting you for custody. They already won on paper. They're moving now to make it physical." I backed away from the table. My legs hit the box behind me. I nearly fell. Then something caught my eye, tucked inside the folder. A yellow sticky note. My handwriting. But I didn't write it. "You can't run forever. We will finish this for her." My breath caught. The words blurred. Jordan grabbed the note, flipped it. Blank on the back. "That's fresh ink. Recent. Like someone planted it here." The light above us flickered. Once. Twice. Then the sound of footsteps. Not ours. Slow. Deliberate. Right outside the unit. Jordan dropped the flashlight. The bulb cracked. I grabbed Ivy's birth certificate and the hard drive. He pressed a finger to his lips. We held still. The footsteps stopped. Then a knock. One. Solid. Knock. And a voice. Female. Calm. Cold. "Miss Whitlow, you've been served." They didn't just disown me, they legally erased me. The knock echoed like a gunshot. Jordan and I froze, crouched in shadows behind metal storage shelves, breath held. My fingers wrapped tighter around the hard drive. If they got that, everything I had left would burn. "Miss Whitlow." The voice again. Still calm. Too calm. They knew I was here, which meant they knew more than I'd let slip. Jordan flicked his eyes to the exit. "Back door. Locked from the outside." I mouthed, "Plan B?" He mouthed back, run. We moved in sync. 1, 2, 3. Glass shattered. Flashlight beams tore through the dark. A figure stepped into view. Not a cop. No badge. Just a clean gray suit and a pair of latex gloves.
Corporate.
Private. Jordan shoved open the emergency latch. Alarm didn't go off.
Cut.
I bolted. Rain slapped my face. Tires screeched nearby. Get to the car, he yelled. 2 men gave chase. I ducked behind a dumpster, heart punching against my ribs. Cold metal. Wet gravel. Footsteps closing in. She's heading west. I sprinted. Turned the corner. Climbed into Jordan's Civic. Slammed the door. Drive. He didn't ask twice. By dawn, we were 2 counties over, in a motel with cigarette burns in the sheets and a vending machine that $8. Ivy was asleep in the second bed, her legs curled up like a cat. She never asked why we left in the middle of the night. She just watched me, eyes dark and unreadable. Kids can sense when the air shifts, when a parent is lying through their teeth. You okay? Jordan asked, handing me coffee. No, I took a sip. But that's not new. He cracked a smile. You always did bounce off rock bottom like it was a trampoline. I didn't smile back. This isn't rock bottom. It's war. I needed answers. So I did what I swore I'd never do. I called Ava. She picked up on the second ring. Voice groggy. Or guilty. Sam? No time, I said. Meet me. 1 hour. Bring everything you've got. Sam,
1 hour.
I hung up. We met in a church parking lot, all stained glass and rotting wood. Ava pulled up in her Lexus like she didn't belong here, and didn't care. She looked older. Tired. Lips pinched. You shouldn't have come back, she said. Too late. I tried to warn you. I stepped closer. You forged my name. On a custody contract. At 18. Her eyes flicked. I had no choice. There's always a choice. No, Sam. Her voice cracked. Not in our family. You know that. I yanked a file from my coat. Then explain this. Ivy's fake medical file. The contract. The notary's signature. She didn't look at them. Just stared past me, toward the steeple. They told me you were dangerous. That Ivy would be taken from you eventually. This way, they said it'd be clean.
Clean.
Like wiping down a crime scene. Do you know about the genetic report?
I asked.
Her face paled. Ivy's DNA. It's in a database. Tied to a foundation called the Heritage Protocol. Her lips parted. They didn't want to save Ivy. They wanted to use her. Ava turned away. Said nothing. I said the last thing I could before walking off. You gave them power once. Don't give them silence now. Jordan and I drove back to the city in silence. I checked my email. 1 new message. No subject. No sender. Inside. A photo of Ivy's middle school ID. A timestamp. 7:43 a.m. A GPS coordinate. Just outside her bus stop. Jordan's jaw tightened. They're watching her. They've always been watching. That night, I pulled Ivy into my arms. She didn't fight it. Mom, she whispered. Are we in danger? I kissed her temple. I'd die before I let them take you. A pause. Why would they want to? I stared at the ceiling. At the crack that ran through plaster like a fault line. Because you're smarter than they ever were. And that scares them. Later, when the room went still, I opened the hard drive again. Scanned every file. Until I found it. 1 document. Buried deep. Encrypted but labeled. S. Whitlow. Subject 001. My blood ran cold. They never wanted Ivy gone. They wanted her, just not with Sam.
This was never about me.
They're coming for her. Ivy was gone. The front door was cracked. Her sneakers were still by the mat, laces curled in loose spirals. But her backpack was missing. So was the burner phone I'd given her last week. Just in case. My lungs stalled. I tore through the house. Bathroom. Closet. Window screens untouched. No signs of struggle.
Just gone.
Jordan's voice came through my headset. Sam, talk to me. She's not here. What do you mean she's not? I said she's not here. I pressed a trembling hand to the kitchen counter. There was a folded note under the fruit bowl. Neat, block letters. No signature. Stay calm. Stay silent. This is what's best for her. The floor tilted. I grabbed my keys, gun from the lockbox, and bolted. The drive was a blur of red lights and wrong turns. I checked her GPS tracker, offline. I checked the bus stop, empty. School had no record of her arrival. None of her friends had seen her. The world thinned to static. Then a ping. Jordan, check your email. Now. I pulled over and opened it. A single image. Ivy, blindfolded, sitting in a room with bare walls and fluorescent lights. Her hair was messy, her wrists bound. She wasn't crying. She was staring straight into the camera, like she wanted me to see her, like she wanted me to remember. We don't panic. We move. I hit the gas. Jordan met me at a junkyard on the outskirts of town. He held a duffel bag and wore a face like stone.
She's not dead, he said.
That's a message, not a ransom. Then what is it? A warning. I opened the duffel. Burner phones. Disposable plates.
Gloves.
Zip ties.
We're going dark, he said. Now.
I didn't ask how he got it all. I just nodded. You ever wonder, Jordan said, why the people who preach control are the ones who fear chaos most? I looked at him. He held my gaze. Because they know once the cracks show, everything breaks. We moved every 2 hours. Never used the same car twice. I left my ID in a storm drain. Jordan threw his phone off a bridge. By sundown, we were in a motel carved into the side of a highway, room 112. Carpet stank of mildew. Lamp flickered like a pulse. I sat on the bed, still dressed, staring at the wall. Jordan worked the laptop. He had Ivy's school files open. Then a list of private contracts tied to the Heritage Protocol. I leaned in. What's that? Her name's not just in the database, he said. It's tagged. Tagged for what? He didn't answer right away. Then he clicked a document. Subject 002. I. Whitlow. Genetic yield, 92%. I reeled. Yield. They ran gene filters through prenatal scans. Intelligence. Behavior modeling. Even memory retention. I felt the bile rise. They used me as an incubator. No, Jordan said. They used you as a prototype. He clicked again. Subject 001. S. Whitlow. Status. Incomplete. I pushed away from the desk. Cold. Airless. All these years, they weren't erasing me, they were editing me. I punched the wall. The mirror cracked.
Spiderweb.
Jordan didn't flinch. They're using Ivy as leverage. Not because she's family. Because she's property. We got a call at 3:07 a.m. Unlisted number. Jordan put it on speaker. A man's voice. Flat. Southern drawl, but clean. Too clean. You're trespassing in matters that don't concern you anymore. I stepped forward. She's my daughter.
No.
She's an asset. And assets don't belong to failures. I froze. You can fight us, the voice said. But you'll lose everything.
Click.
At sunrise, we traced the photo's metadata. A power station. West of the city. Decommissioned. Fenced off. Government leased. Jordan checked blueprints. No surveillance. I packed a Glock. Flashlight. Wire cutters. He looked at me. You sure? I nodded. They want control. I want blood. We parked half a mile out. Walked in through brush.
Silent.
Focused. The facility loomed like a carcass. Steel bones. Broken windows. I reached the service door.
Locked.
Jordan pried it open with a crowbar. Inside. Silence. Then footsteps above. A soft thud. We moved. The stairwell reeked of bleach. Someone tried to clean. Sloppy. We hit the second floor. One hallway. Doors left and right. All closed. I took the first. Empty.
Second.
Empty. Third, light under the door. I nodded. Jordan swung. Inside.
A chair.
Ropes cut. Ivy gone. And a new note. Too slow. They don't want custody. They want compliance. The word slow, repeated in my head like a fault line cracking. Too slow. Too late. Too predictable. Jordan swept the empty room with his flashlight. Ivy's chair still rocked slightly. The ropes, cut with precision. Surgical. They moved her, he said. Not long ago. Less than an hour. I touched the note. The paper was warm. Someone had just left it. I turned to Jordan. What happens when your enemy knows your next move before you make it? He said nothing. Just scanned the doorframe. No fingerprints. No hairs. Not even dust.
Clean.
The kind of clean that screams, cover up. Back at the car, I pulled up the Heritage Protocol files again. Too much noise. Not enough thread. Stop looking at her data, I said. Jordan frowned. It's all we've got.
No.
It's all they want us to see. That's when I remembered the file I found in the drive. The one labeled S. Whitlow, subject 001. I opened it. Encrypted. But one metadata tag was visible. Evaluator, Dr. Elroy Mathis. Date, March 22nd, 2010. My chest froze. That's 4 years after he was declared dead. Jordan blinked. You sure? I was there when Ava read the obituary. I remember the headline. Beloved local therapist dies in cabin fire. They buried him. I saw the photos. Jordan sat back. Then either he faked his death, or someone faked it for him. We dug.
Fast.
Hospital records. Tax returns. Any digital trail. Then it hit us. Not in government databases, but buried in a malpractice suit from 2008. Plaintiff name, Cora Fielding. Former nurse. Fired after reporting unauthorized behavioral tests involving minors. The case was sealed. Settled in arbitration. No details released. But there was one line left in the legal summary. Nurse Fielding claims Dr. Mathis falsified psych evaluations under pressure from an external research entity. I stared at it. She's the key. Jordan found a last known address. Upstate. Remote. No internet footprint since 2014. People like her don't disappear on accident, he said. I was already loading the car. Then we better find her before they finish the job. The drive north was a crawl through storm-choked roads and dead zones. By the time we reached the cabin, night was bleeding in. Single bulb on the porch. Motion sensor. Jordan knocked once. No answer.
Twice.
The door creaked open. Cora Fielding stood in the frame. Hair silver. Face hollowed with time. She held a shotgun casually, like it belonged to her hand. You've got 10 seconds, she said. I raised both palms. I'm Sam Whitlow. Her eyes flickered. Her grip tightened. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here because they took my daughter. Silence. Then, they always come back, she muttered. But never to help. I stepped forward. They used your license to validate a psychiatric eval I never received. They used my name. My kid. They've been planning this for 15 years. Her lips twitched. Almost a flinch. Ivy, she asked. I froze. You know her name? They ran models on her. Before she was born. Cognitive yield, adaptability, syntactic memory. Her voice broke. They called her a golden egg. Where's Mathis? She laughed, sharp and joyless. If you find him, you can ask how much he got paid to erase me. Jordan stepped up. You kept anything? Cora hesitated, then turned. We followed her into the cabin. She unlocked a hidden drawer beneath the floorboards. Inside, a manila envelope, a flash drive, 2 tapes labeled Patient SW, night sessions. I reached for one. She caught my wrist. If you play this, she said, you don't get to walk away and pretend the world still works the way it used to. I stared at the tape. My name. My initials. My voice, maybe. Or someone pretending to be me? Jordan took the drive. We'll copy it. Return it after. Cora shook her head. Don't come back here. In the car, I played the tape. The audio was distorted, but clear enough. A girl's voice. Raspy.
Scared. Mine.
I don't remember signing anything.
Pause.
Why do I feel like I'm not allowed to say no? A second voice, male.
Cold.
Because we've already moved forward, Sam. And you don't want to be the kind of mother who regrets not giving her child the future she deserves.
Static. Click.
Jordan killed the player. We sat in the dark, breathless. That wasn't therapy, he said. No, I whispered. That was programming. My phone vibrated. Unknown number. I answered. Tell me, said the voice, how far are you willing to go to undo what you signed for? My grip tightened. I never signed. The voice chuckled. Intent was never required. Only blood. They didn't disown me to punish me. They did it to control her. The courthouse was ice cold. Not the air, just the walls. Pale stone, quiet halls, soft footsteps on marble. Justice dressed in silence. Jordan sat 2 rows behind me, laptop on his knees, live stream already queued. Behind him, reporters whispered like a prayer line waiting to confess. I stood alone. No lawyer. No handler. No last-minute strategy. Just a mother and her proof. The clerk called the case. Emergency hearing. Whitlow versus Whitlow. Petition to terminate maternal custody on psychological grounds. My parents walked in like royalty. Tailored suits. Perfect posture. Father's Yale pin gleaming against his collar. Mother's pearls a little too deliberate. But they flinched when they saw me. Not because I looked dangerous, but because I looked prepared. The judge adjusted her glasses. Miss Whitlow, you're representing yourself? Yes, Your Honor. She arched an eyebrow. That's a bold choice. Not a choice, I said. A necessity. My father's attorney stood.
Polished.
Polite. Predatory. Your Honor, we have filed over 50 pages of documented concern, including medical records that clearly show emotional instability. Objection. My voice cut sharp. The room froze. I lifted a manila envelope. That evaluation was falsified. The doctor in question has been legally deceased since 2010. The judge's eyes narrowed. You have proof? More than that. Jordan hit go live. The courtroom projector flickered on. A video began to play. Cora Fielding's testimony. The original audio tapes. My voice, scared. Their voice, manipulative. The metadata logs. The forged custody document. Then the kicker. Subject 001. S. Whitlow. Status. Incomplete. Subject 002. I. Whitlow. Yield. 92%. Authorization. Whitlow Family Trust. The judge's lips parted.
Slowly.
My mother's hand trembled. My father didn't move. Just stared forward.
Hollow.
Your Honor, I said quietly, they didn't come for my daughter to protect her. They came because they believe they own her. And they've spent 15 years grooming the legal system to make it true. The judge turned to the opposing counsel. Would you like to respond? No one stood. Silence thicker than steel. Then I'll rule now. I held my breath. This court finds sufficient evidence of medical fraud, psychological coercion, and unlawful consent. The petition to terminate custody is denied. Full rights remain with Samantha Whitlow. Effective immediately. The gavel fell. I exhaled. We walked out into a wall of flashing cameras and shouted questions. I didn't stop. Jordan shielded me. The sun broke through clouds like a stage light. Ivy waited in the car. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. She opened the door before I reached the handle. You did it, she whispered. I pulled her into my arms. No, we did it. We sat for a minute. Just breathing. Heartbeats sinking again. She looked at me. Why did they want me? Because you're more than they could ever understand. She leaned against me. I don't want to be special. You don't have to be, I said. You just have to be free. We drove straight out of the city. No plan, just distance. 3 hours in, Ivy fell asleep in the back seat, hand curled around my jacket. Jordan drove, eyes steady on the road. Think they'll come again? He asked. I looked at the rear view. Skies stretched endless. Nothing behind us but smoke.
They might, I said.
But now we know how to burn back. He nodded. Sometimes, I said quietly, family is just the first story someone tries to write about you. It's your job to rewrite it. He smiled. You always did like the last word. I like the true word. He turned up the radio. And for the first time in 15 years, the silence inside me broke. Not from fear. From freedom. They didn't raise me to survive. They raised me to obey. But they forgot. Obedience doesn't build warriors. It builds weapons. And I've never been more dangerous.